Should be good to go.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon, ladies, and welcome. We're gonna welcome Miss Lori Drake. She's been in the industry a little over 20 years, and she has a lot of experience in not only credit collections and accounts receivable, but also where we can engage as professionals to provide a little bit of mentorship opportunities or networking. And as she mentioned, also like educational events. Um, so Lori, we're excited to have you here and hear what you have to show us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I'm very glad to be here. I can tell you when y'all reached out to me and asked me to do this presentation, I was very humbled. This is still new to me, doing the community side of things. So kind of being on the opposite side as the credit. I was a little nervous, but it was fun knowing that people are liking what we've been trying to build. And just to share a little bit about me, as Anna said, I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I've been a credit manager, worked through the construction industry primarily, but I first got started working for a dealership where I did the repossessions. It was one of those bad credit, no credit financing kind of place. So we got to deal with all the people that like to pay the bills. Obviously, that's sarcastic. We had so many people that would skip their first month payment and deck out the cars with wheels and stereos and a lot of accessories in it. But since they didn't make their payment, I managed the repossessions. So we would go and take the cars away. One fun thing is when you take a car, the stuff in it or on it is now the property of the dealership. So me and my coworkers usually wound up with some great music. We got a lot of car accessories and decor. Kind of made the dealing with finding the cars kind of a fun thing. But there was this one time where we needed to find a car that we couldn't find anywhere else, but we knew the guy delivered pizza. So we actually followed him down in Seattle is where I was. And when he went up to deliver his pizza, we took his car away. So then we got all the pizzas in the car as well. So that was a lot of fun. But finding cars is kind of like this credit side, just doing the skip tracing in that. We had to work with phone books. A lot of you might not even know what the white pages are, but we had to work with white pages, credit reports to find their addresses and employers, and just kind of use that skip tracing side, pay family to tell us where the car is, that sort of thing. But eventually I moved on to a third-party collection agency. I was done with the car field and I had no experience for the agency. So when I interviewed, she actually called my then boss for a credit reference, or sorry, I'm on Credit Mind, for employee reference. And since I didn't have any experience, he actually told her if she didn't hire me, she was stupid. So I got on with that. They put me through NACM, the National Association of Credit Management. I got my certification, the CBA designation. That's where I met pretty much everybody in my network, going to the conferences, being part of industry groups and all that. You meet so many different people from so many different places that it's nice to kind of add them to your network as well. Getting into credit, I worked for an electrical distributor and supplier, moved on from there to, like I said, industry groups, being on the boards, serving in different capacities and roles, and teaching some education courses like Anna had mentioned. About 6 years ago, I decided to give all that up, took a break. I stopped working completely cold turkey, stayed home, hung with my family and my dog, and kind of got to travel around. But 2 years into that, I received a call out of the blue from Levelset. Levelset also manages the lien rights management. I had previously been a customer of theirs, so I knew their platform. So they had asked me if I would want to build a community for the credit, finance, and accounting people to kind of showcase themselves. They can teach webinars, write articles, celebrate birthdays, do credit managers of the month, suppliers of the month, kind of all the fun stuff where we can help somebody become a hero for the company that they're currently in and get people's names out there, and a lot of continuing education that you could put to your certifications if you were looking for any of that. The content was all help first. Obviously, that was a level set phrase, but everything I did was 100% free. So a lot of that will go into the marketing on LinkedIn that I'll be getting to. But we believed that the education and the contacts and helping people excel was more important than sales. So I had mentioned to Anna before, Levelset did get bought out by a company called Procore, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard. And the community side just kind of got pushed away. So unfortunately, had to take the community away from there. And thankfully, I landed with this company called Handle. They're also Lean Rights Management, great group of people, been around for about 5 to 6 years. Well, they hired me to continue this community. So luckily I get to keep building this and kind of making it on a bigger scale. This, as you see there's my contact information, but I believe they sent out slides to all of you. If not, you're going to go ahead and get it, so you won't have to write all of that down. But moving on to what you guys had asked me to talk about, which is building your brand and your footprint on LinkedIn. I kind of divided it up into 4 sections that are pretty much what I did. Unfortunately, I was kind of messy when I started it, because I really just didn't know what I was doing. But going through it and building more of it, it became really obvious as to what people are looking for and how to build that network. So molding your digital footprint, building your content strategy, building your community, and engaging your network. The 4 components that I think would help you in any direction that you're trying to go. The first one, molding your footprint. Initially, it's just about crafting your profile. You want to show who you are and what you can bring to the table. You want to kind of make your profile attractive to the first glance of people going by. So initially, the easiest place to start is engaging your headline and your photo. You want to take photos and put your headshot professionally. You don't want to have the little selfie that you take or playing, in the background with something else. If you want to build your network and your footprint, you want to represent what you're trying to build. And then the headline as well. I've seen so many profiles that say, I love my dogs, or used to do this, or something like that. But just put your job title, your company, and just leave it at that. It's front and center. It's very easy to see what you are doing. The summary is an important part. You want to put what your experience is in the past, what kind of got you to where you are, and what you are currently doing. You don't want to make it a big, long, drawn out thing. Just kind of highlight what you think would be important for somebody to know about you. The showcasing your portfolio, that is adding, there's a section on your portfolio where you can add, say you were interviewed for an ACM in a document, you can put a link to that. You could put any webinars that you might have taught or any classes that you might have taught, anything that focuses around what your niche is, what footprint you're going to be trying to make, which is that tailoring, reflecting your niche. Like mine's the finance sector, obviously, so I would post anything, any experience that I have, any education that I have, pretty much anything that I could think of, I would stick on there if it had anything to do with finance. You might have hospitality, you might have, say, agriculture or something like that. You want to make sure your profile, it's kind of like your resume. You want to make sure your profile focuses just on that. You don't want to show that you're in all different industries. If you're trying to build your footprint, and especially if you want to stay in the construction industry, then that's what you want your profile to focus on. The recommendations. Now, these are vital. You want to build a profile of reciprocity, requesting recommendations. There's a little spot that you go in on your profile, and you can request a recommendation, say from your coworker or somebody you met from the network or somebody that maybe was a customer of yours. They'll show up, and they show up very clearly on your profile, kind of in the top section of it, so people can see other people talking about you and learn more about what you're bringing to the table. But you also have to give them. This one's kind of harder because it's hard to think of things to say when somebody's in the same position that you just told something else about. So you got to get creative, but a lot of people request recommendations and people just don't do it. So if you can request them, get them, but also give them, it gives you a lot of recognition. Plus, people really appreciate you more for that. The building your content strategy. So this, again, needs to focus on what you're trying to build. You want to create the platforms. So like there's podcasts, webinars, Q&A sessions, polls. You can do interviews. You got to find what kind of content you're going to use. You want to focus on posting whatever you do the same time every day, or post several times a day. What that does is it actually puts you front and center on somebody's news feed. I can't tell you how many conferences I've gone to, which is kind of funny, but people are like, oh yeah, I follow you on LinkedIn, or oh yeah, I saw this on LinkedIn. So if you can stay relevant and at the top of people's news feeds, that'll get you a lot of recognition. Personal and professional posts is, say you went to a conference and went to a networking event with some company, post about that, post some pictures, just kind of talk about how fun it was. But also on the professional side, if you took a new course, or you, again, went to a conference, or, you know, interviewed somebody or talked with somebody, you put the professional sides as well. So you'll get both sides on your profile as you're trying to set everything up. Sharing is huge. You want to engage and collaborate, which is also talked about a little bit, but with both people and companies. With companies, you want to make sure you're following them. So any of your competitors or anybody in the industry that like has a big footprint out there, you want to follow those. And as far as connections, I always make sure that I'm connected to the person. I don't follow the person. If you're trying to build your platform, if you follow somebody, it doesn't show that you're following them. But if you connect with them, then it starts to show how many people you're connected with, and it gets you more front and center communication and posting and site with all that. So you definitely want, I know a lot of people follow, but connecting with people is definitely the avenue you want to go. Not everybody will want you to connect. They might say, hey, go ahead and follow me. But the majority of people I've sent them to, they don't say no, or they don't hit the ignore for the most part, as long as they're, you know, looking at the same stuff that you are. Building your network. So the types of connections. There are people out there that just want as many followers as they can, want as many connections as they can. I know somebody out there that has a great footprint, does lots of posts, a lot of great information, but her entire network, if you look at it, honestly, it's a bunch of guys. It's a bunch of guys that just want to follow her. It's a bunch of people out, you know, in different countries and different areas that have absolutely nothing to do with what her focus is, but she wants the numbers to be high. So that's her focus. My focus would be to target people that can help me, that I can help, that are part of the same niche that I am. It just makes it more valuable, and it gets you a lot more connecting and engaging opportunities. And like I said, following companies, follow all your competitors, follow your competitors, follow, like I wouldn't follow like a news brief from Chicago or something like that, but follow your local newspaper. There's construction news, I think, in San Antonio and Houston that has great articles, and they'll feature people, they'll feature companies. So you want to follow stuff like that and try to engage with stuff like that. Same with the groups. There are a lot of relevant groups out there. One of mine, if you saw my information, I just started a vidcast called Credit Talk with Lori. So there is a group called Credit Talk with Lori, where I'm going to, hopefully a lot of people like you guys, interview people, just get like 10, 15-minute snippets on something about credit. Going to these conferences, I'm going to have my little camera at networking events and just do posts like that. So that's a group. There's other groups that are specifically for construction subcontractors or GCs, or pretty much any group you can find, a lot of credit management ones. You want to follow relevant groups. Again, it doesn't do you any good to follow a company that you're not even going to want any of the information that they post. And then continued education. Anytime you can take a class on LinkedIn or through any of the different associations, post it on your feed. Education and new certificate courses, that sort of thing. for whatever reason, they get at the top of people's news feeds. So it's a big plus for you to get your vision out there, for people to see you and get their eye on what you're looking for. And there again is the engaging your network. So one of the big things I love to do is LinkedIn always tells you when somebody has a new position or they got a promotion or it's their birthday. Try to celebrate all of these. Anytime you see a post, comment on them. You want to tag them. So if it's like Deborah got a new job, tag Deborah, even though you're commenting it, it'll actually show more. But tag her and say congratulations on your new position or happy birthday. Those kind of things show engagement on your news feed, so it gets your footprint out there even more. Comment, share, and do messages. If you just like posts, it doesn't get recognized. But if you actually comment, like say, oh, that was some very insightful information, thanks for sharing, that shows up more as a brand, as a footprint. It gets your name out there and it'll get people to start following you so that they could get more of your information. Depending on what your comment is, of course, you want to make it relevant and I would say nice. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all, as they say. But definitely comment. If you see anybody, maybe they just got laid off from their employer and they're looking for help getting a new job, share their post and say, hey, check out, so-and-so that's looking for a new credit management position. The more people that they can get to share that, the more recognition they get out there. So it helps them as well as you to get your recognition. Messages are good, but it doesn't really show on your news feed, but you can send messages. I send a lot of messages to, say I'm doing a conference in Texas. I'll go through my network of all the Texas people, which I'm sure some of you have seen these, but I'll say, hey, I'm hosting an event in Texas on this day, blah, blah, hope you can come. And then people will respond either way. And if people can come, I'll contact them a little more and make sure they get the invite and that sort of thing. But just sending messages on what you're up to, if you want to connect with somebody, people like those as well. But there's so many sales and spam messages out there. They do get hidden sometimes. So you just kind of got to be careful on what kind of messages you're saying. And then the other people's content, other than just sharing somebody's celebrations, if you want to share, say somebody posted an article or they posted a cute little cartoon, anything that you think other people would like to learn from, share it on your feed, but you have to tag who the author was of it. Even if it's just something basic, you still want to tag the author so you never get looked at as if trying to, steal somebody's content. You always want to recognize them for it. And what that also does is puts you on their news feed. And so all of their connections will now see your name out there as well. There's a lot of little things you can do that gets you recognized where you can get more connections that matter. Networking is one of the easiest and funnest parts on there. I would not be where I am today if I didn't have my LinkedIn network. I've never been without a job. I've never been, without information to help me through something. The network is huge and people really do engage and collaborate with each other in these platforms. Participate in live events, participate in webinars. The live ones are fun because everybody's obviously out there live. The webinars are okay, but it doesn't get as much recognition. But in these events, ask a question, add a comment or a statement, participate in some way, because normally whoever's running that will actually post the questions and who asked them or comments or any help. So when they post the webinar or the interview, whatever it is, you actually get credit, kind of a tag there for that. So that also gets you some recognition. And then the collaborating, just comment and talk to anybody and everybody that you can. Like I said, don't just say, great job. You actually want to try and make it 4 or 5 words at least. Always tag them. The more you can do that, the more out there your profile is going to be. Well, I got through that fast. A couple other things. Building your network. It is a lot of work. You do have to stay on it. You do have to respond to things, pay attention to the notifications, stay in touch with other people. If you just go to a conference and meet somebody, automatically pull up their LinkedIn and add them to there. It is a lot of work, but as whoever follows me has seen, it's a lot of fun. There are a lot of different things that you can celebrate, you can post, you can talk about. Not even just LinkedIn, but there's Instagram, there's Twitter, it's now X is what it's called, Facebook, all these other things, and you can share back and forth between them. So if you see something on Instagram, post it on your news feed, vice versa. That way it gets more connections or more contacts that can come over and add to your other pages and just get more followers across the board. Doing this, obviously, it'll build your network. It'll get you out there and you'll be able to see new career opportunities. You'll be able to celebrate, the peers that are with you in your industry. And just really, it's really a lot of fun. And it's really fun for when people say, oh, I saw you on LinkedIn. To show that what you're trying to do gets recognized, it's pretty cool, especially when you can, have fun with it. As far as the conferences that Anna mentioned, with the community that I am now, with the community that we have right now, I do throw in-person conferences. Everything that I do is free. We get 100%, you get breakfast, lunch, dinner, education. We usually throw them at Topgolfs, so you get to golf. Everything is included in all of that. There's great speakers. A lot of you can be speakers as well. I always try to recognize whoever's in the industry to teach the webinars, to write articles or at least contribute to articles and speak at these sessions. And we also do in-person education things. So if you ever want, say, a lean rights management class to come to your office, we can come and talk with your coworkers and salespeople to kind of talk about whatever you need to talk about. Everything we do is free. It's all help first, like I said, at Level Set. And it's all just to kind of help people advance in professionally and personally, wherever it is that they're wanting to go. So I probably got through that really fast, but I'm definitely open. If anybody's got any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Lori, I'll break the ice. Is there, in your opinion, too much information or ever a case of where we shouldn't share too much of something?
Say yes. When you're first getting started, not really, because you want to get your name out there more to get more followers, but polls are very, very good things to respond to. And you'll also get the results when they're done with the poll. But a lot of stuff people talk about just has no relevance. They're just trying to get it in their newsfeed to keep their content up there. There is a lot of stuff that I don't respond to. If somebody posts like a news comment on their news feed, but it's like 5 pages long. Most people that scroll, I am one of them, if you have to click that more button, they don't. They'll just read whatever your first 2 sentences are and move on from there. So there is a lot of information out there that you just don't need to worry yourself with unless it's something that you think would benefit other people. If it's just to share it for no reason, I personally think that people might stop following me if I did that, just because it wouldn't be relevant or interesting information to whoever's following.
Thank you.
Of course. Looks like we have a question in the chat. How much more visibility does your profile gain if you upgrade? Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. I forgot to say that. If you want to build your place on LinkedIn, you have to get the premium membership. It's really not that expensive. I think it's like $30 a month or for the year or something like that. It's not expensive, but with that, you can invite a lot more people to join your network. You can send more messages. So if somebody is not a connection yet, but it says message, but it's got a little lock on it, you can't message them. But if you have the premium subscription, you can message them and talk with those people. It gets you your profile kind of to the top. So if there's somebody searches credit managers and your title is a credit manager and you pay for the premium, it puts you at the top of that list as well. It shows you more analytics, like if you make a post, how many people have seen that post. I watch a lot of my stuff just obviously for the community, and it'll show me who's checking out the posts, who's reading the content. I think the last time I looked, it was like 62% was credit managers. And then it went to controllers, CFOs, sales. So it's fun to see who's reading your stuff and if you're actually marketing and getting the attention that you want from the right people. So yeah, I would absolutely pay for that. Gotta ask some questions. Give me some fun here. This is fun to talk about. I mean, honestly, I've never been able to talk about that. I was telling Anna, this is all new to me. It's fun. It's hard, but it's so much more fun than doing credit. Sorry, I have to say. But it's a lot of fun. Let's see. How do you feel about hashtags? You guys are all reading my mind. It is possible to use too many. So again, it depends on your market. So I probably have a list of 20 that I post on everything. Building Blocks is the name of the community, so I hashtag Building Blocks. I'm doing the Credit Talk with Lori, so I hashtag Credit Talk with Lori. You can start your own hashtags, but then you always want to hashtag whatever it is that you're trying to market. So building suppliers, construction industry, credit managers, AI, collections, whatever you're wanting people to build with you are the hashtags. If you throw out networking or you throw out, like I'm in Missouri right now, put in Missouri, you're not going to get any recognition from people that you're going to want to get it. So yeah, I've seen hashtags before where I'm like, oh, that person used a lot, but it does work. And if you ever like say the Building Blocks, if you click on that hashtag, you can see everything, that you've done so far under that hashtag. So you can see people that respond to it, people that like or comment. It's fun to kind of build your own hashtag and see what people do with it. Other people will share your hashtag. So it definitely gets you out there. I think there is too many that you can do, but as long as they're worthwhile, I don't think it's a problem. Anybody else? Well, as you're thinking of any more questions, like I mentioned, I like to recognize people. If you hadn't heard, I did a conference in Dallas, maybe a little over a year ago, and we had Chris Arrington come and present Patricia with Credit Manager of the Month. So I love to celebrate people. We try to give them really cool gifts. With Handle now, I'm starting to give out Series 8 Apple Watches to anybody that wins Credit Manager of the Month. So if you ever want to nominate anybody, want to nominate yourself, let me know. And hopefully they can make it that month or down the line. We also bring out the education. We can bring out education on anything. It could be lien rights management. It could be talking with your salespeople, building relationships, that sort of thing. But if you ever want to have education in your own area, we're happy to come over and do that. Like I mentioned, the conferences are all free. The webinars are all free. Teach a webinar, write an article for me, provide a quote, sit on a panel. If you want to build your network, that's a great way to be recognized. Some people don't want to be recognized all over social, but if that is your goal to get your brand and your footprint out there, there's some really easy ways to do it where you just get to share with your network, which people really do appreciate. Anybody else got any questions? If you think of something later, like I said, you guys should be getting these slides. All my contact information is on there, so you can reach out at any time. The number on there is my mobile, so shoot me a text and I can always respond to that quickly as well. And I like getting y'all out there. So if anybody wants to do anything, please don't hesitate to let me know.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you. I hope that was helpful. It's a lot of information. You'll have to play with the little settings on your LinkedIn. There's a lot of stuff in a lot of different places, but as you play with it, you'll see where you want to put most of your information or focus on. It's hard to get all on there, but it's not as hard as it would look like that it is.
Okay, well, thank you for all the good info.
Absolutely.
I think some of the ladies are jumping off.
Okay, no problem.
Already digging into my profile. Nice, Nicole.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you. I hope to see y'all in the future too. And like I said, reach out if you want to teach webinars or sit on a panel or anything, because those are always fun.
I sure will. Awesome. Thanks, Lori.
Absolutely. Hope it helped, and I hope to talk to y'all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a great afternoon.
Yes, enjoy your afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.